What's up guys, welcome back to another video. As many of you know, Nvidia just launched their 3000 series GPUs and they are crazy. Today we're going to be coming up with 3 different CPU and GPU combos using the 3000 series GPUs to fit any budget. Alright, now we are here in PC Part Picker and we are going to be looking at their system builder application. We can look at all the parts that I want but cannot afford. But we're going to be building 3 different ranged PCs, or maybe 4, depending on your budget. So they're going to be like the cheapest possible PC you can get right now, with still good value. There's going to be a mid-range PC and a high, and maybe an ultimate, which, you know, everybody kind of knows the gist of that. But for the first, we're going to talk about the cheapest PC you can get. Right now, if you want a really high quality, good gaming experience, cheap PC, I'm assuming if you're looking for like a cheap PC, it's going to be more along the lines you don't have a monitor that supports 4K, 250 whatever hertz, 244, whatever it is. You don't have a monitor that can support that, so you're not really going to be taking advantage of the 3070 to its fullest. I mean, you might want ray tracing, things like that, but right now on the used market, you can get RTX 2080 Ti's, 2080s, 2070s, 2070 Supers, just any like RTX card for under $500, $400, $300. I've been looking, and if you wait it out a little bit, you can find some really amazing deals on eBay, Facebook Marketplace. But you gotta remember, these are secondhand cards. They're not going to be 100%, but that is a good option for a really cheap PC right now. But usually I would pair any of those cards with a good Ryzen 3600. Right now they're about $200. It's about $20 more than you'd normally be buying them for, just with Corona and all of that. Normally you'd buy them for $179, right around there, so it's not too bad right now. But that, I would pair it with any used GPU. Just make sure the person's legit, it's not sketchy. But otherwise I'd pair it with the 3070, because 3070 by far is fantastic for its price point. And since that's the cheapest you can get with the 30 series, it is definitely a must pick. So now let's move on to our mid-range PC. The mid-range PC is very similar to the cheapest PC because I feel like the jump between the 3070 and 3080 isn't really big. They both have a lot of performance in them, and once you get to that 3080 zone, you're not going to be getting a huge leap in performance from the 3070 to 3080. It's going to be significant, but not if you don't have those 5K monitors, 4K monitors, all that fancy stuff. It's not really worth it. I would save your money and get a higher quality monitor. Right now you can see right here, old monitor, but if you wanted a nice high quality monitor, I would just go with the 3070 and get yourself a nice monitor, because it can still pump out a ton of FPS and high resolution. Like you can game 4K, 60 plus, 120 plus FPS on a lot of games. The Ryzen 3600 is probably going to be going for this build. You can't beat it. It's a fantastic value for its price point. And we're going to be going to video card down here. I don't know if they actually have 3070s. 3070? They only have 2070s, but yeah, I would go with a 3070 on this build as well, just because it makes the most sense. If you have those 4K monitors, you might want to go with that 3080, but I think that the high range PC, or like high-end PC, I put high range on my script, high-end PC would probably fit you better. So moving on to our high-end PC, this one has a little bit of leeway because it really depends on what you're doing. Are you gaming? Are you video editing? Are you doing all these different tasks? Because that really changes your CPU choice. If you're gaming, maybe like if you're gaming strictly, no streaming, none of that, I would definitely go with the 3600 like the other builds. But if you're doing a little bit of streaming in there and you don't want to pay for a 3080, or a 3800, whatever, or 3600, 3800. If you don't want to pay for that 3800, I would go with a 3700. It is a perfect option for gaming and streaming and doing that multi-threaded processes. It's also good for editing if you can't afford the 3800, 3800, whatever you want to call it. If you want the 3800, I feel it pairs incredibly well to 3080 for video editing, streaming, gaming, all of it together. But it's not worth it if you're just gaming, because you're not going to take advantage of all of its cores. I would go 3600 for gaming, 3700 for streaming, and the 3800 for video editing and multi-threaded tasking. And now for the ultimate PC build. Here, this PC is going to be able to do anything you want it to. Ultimate workflow with tons of things open, do whatever you want. Video editing, video processing, 3D rendering, all sorts of whatever, 8K gaming, everything. So the CPU we're going to choose is going to be none other than the 3900X for $429. And for the video card, I assume you guessed it, the 3090. I feel like the 3090 is only fitting to go with the ultimate PC because it is the highest tier graphics card you can get right now. And I feel like it doesn't fit in any other category because it's too expensive for like a high-end PC. High-end PCs are usually between $1,000 and $2,000, I would say. And the card already hits $1,500, so it doesn't really fit into those workflows, but it's basically the highest end gaming card you can get right now, because there have been the Quattro series, but their speed isn't for gaming, it's for 3D rendering. But this card can kind of do it all. It can game at 8K, 60 FPS, and pretty much most titles. It can render 3D objects. It can do what a lot of the mid-range, lower-end Quattro cards can do for 3D processing wise, because it's not designed for that, it's designed for gaming, but it can still do it, and that's the crazy thing. It's kind of an all-arounder. It can do basically whatever, because if you want to have a work PC and a gaming PC, but you don't want to spend a ton on each because maybe you work in video editing and video rendering, you don't want to spend that on a Quattro and not get the gaming performance out of it. It's a perfect card for that kind of person, but it's also a perfect enthusiast card. If you have that money that you want to spend on it, go ahead, be my guest. It sounds like it would be awesome to use. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do for the ultimate PC build. And I think that's going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button, please subscribe. You guys mean the world to me. Thank you so much for all of your support. Recently the channel's been growing like crazy. I kind of want to transfer more of the channel into tech videos because I love technology, and I feel like that's more of a personal interest. And I did do flight sim stuff in the past, but I just feel like I've got to focus in on what I want to do and work towards it. Thank you all for the support. Please leave a like, subscribe, tell me about what you'd like to see in the future. I'm always open to new video ideas. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.